Hello everybody, this is Dr. David Cole. It's Wednesday evening, August 20th, and this is the Week 1 video for Political Science 3753, Constitutional Law, for the Fall 2025 term. Everybody, you should have gotten several emails this morning to get everything started for the fall term. We're starting in the middle of the week, so this message is going out Wednesday evening. Generally, these will go out Sundays, so you should be getting another message from me sometime Sunday. We don't have all that much on the syllabus for now through the weekend. We have one set of class notes for you to look at. I believe that's all on the syllabus for now, for beginning the 20th. So that should help you get you introduced to the subject matter. The textbook by three authors, most prominently Lee Epstein. I got a link from Sage Publishing informing me that this was available in an ebook format at a discount, so you should have gotten an email from me about that. If you want the hard copy, it is available through the online bookstore. Everybody, I don't try to teach this as though we were in law school. My understanding is that mostly, but not entirely, the people who are taking this course will be law enforcement majors, and so they need to know what the constitutional law is, among other things. Now, if that's your field, the most important things for you to look at and to be thinking about will be in the units on the course syllabus concerning due process, obtaining evidence, search and seizure. Those by and large come in the second half of the course after the midterm exam in November, I believe, but you can double check. It may actually come up in October, soon after the midterm exam. But everybody is welcome, no matter what your major, even if you just want this as an elective. Looking at the syllabus, which you should have, it should have been attached to one of those emails to you. Those emails are up as announcements, and they're attached to those announcements as well, and the syllabus is on the course website. Everybody, what we will have is a midterm and a final, and then 7 quizzes and 7 threaded discussions. So on the 16-week schedule, there will be something about every week. Sometimes we may go a week or two without anything, and then we'll double up on some weeks. But on average, we should have something just about every week. Those are 4 100-point grades, 2 100-point exams, a set of quizzes and a set of discussions, 20 points each, the best 5 out of 7. So that's also a 100-point grade. That set of discussions and the set of quizzes, each are equivalent to the midterm and or the final exam. Okay. Everybody has to take the final. If you do a term paper, it can go in place of one of those other 100-point grades. And furthermore, if you want to be on the A track for the course, you need to do a term paper. You must submit a term paper to make an A in the course. A document went out with a list of 5 or 6 pages of recent Supreme Court cases that I hope that there will be something of interest on there to everybody who might be looking at doing a term paper. So please take a look at that, and perhaps you'll find something there you'd be interested in researching for something to be submitted at the end of the term. So, term paper, a midterm and a final, a set of quizzes, a set of discussions. And you've got an extra credit opportunity if you want to write a few sentences introducing yourself, and that'll be worth 5 points. But by and large, it's a paper, if you want to do one, to be eligible for an A, plus a midterm and a final, a set of quizzes, and a set of discussions. Everybody, looking ahead to what we have for next week, we're looking at judicial review on the course syllabus. We're going to have a quiz later in the week. Everybody, I scheduled that for the 29th. This probably was a mistake because that's immediately before Labor Day weekend. Watch your inbox next week. What I probably will do is leave that open for 48 hours, Thursday and Friday, the 28th and 29th. Generally, they'll be 24 hours at a time. But if we do it that way next week, then if you want to take the quiz Thursday and get started with your Labor Day weekend, you'll be able to do that. So that's probably what we will do. Look for an announcement from me on that next week. Now, for that quiz, you have something to look at online, and I've given you a gift link from the Washington Post that should work. Contact me if it does not. Then there's one assignment from the textbook and one assignment based on the Supreme Court case of Baker versus Carr. That file is up on the course website, and I've attached it to an email and an announcement. So it's attached to an email that you've received, and all those emails go up as announcements, and you should find it attached to one of those announcements as well. So there's several places where you can find those excerpts from the Supreme Court case of Baker versus Carr. So more than likely, we will leave that quiz open for 48 hours, Thursday and Friday, the 28th and 29th. Generally, it'll be 24 hours at a time. But given that we're right on the cusp of Labor Day, we'll look at doing it that way. Look for an announcement from me on that. 10 true false items, 10 minutes once you begin the quiz. Okay, the exams are going to be 30 minutes at a time for 50 items, so you'll have to be on your toes for the midterm and the final exam. Now, we'll do a discussion earlier in the week, Monday and Tuesday, and I've sent you a gift link to a lengthy interview by Ross Douthat of the New York Times with Jack Goldsmith. Now, these people are both Republicans. Goldsmith worked in the George W. Bush administration, and Douthat regards himself as an ideological conservative. Neither one of them are the greatest admirers of Trump, and they're going to talk at some length in this interview about the implications of what Trump has done. Now, everybody, we're not going to spend the whole term talking about Trump. Everybody will have a different opinion about him. We will talk about him from time to time because there's things he has done that have constitutional implications. So we need to be cognizant of that. For the time being, though, what we have is we have a set of class notes for you to look at now through the weekend, 10 or 12 pages, I believe, just to introduce the subject matter. Then we have some more material on judicial review for next week, a discussion Monday and Tuesday, and a quiz that we will probably run for 48 hours Thursday and Friday. Okay. So that's what you've got for the time being. Everybody, the course is divided into 27 units. It doesn't quite divide exactly in half, so we would do 12 of those units and then have the midterm exam, and there will be 15 more for the final exam. Through the midterm exam, the subject matter is, well, some very preliminary issues about the courts. Judicial review, attempts that have been made through the years to rein in or strike back at the Supreme Court. And then what we have is separation of powers and checks and balances. Congressional and executive power, including power over taxing, spending, and commerce. And then before we take our exam, federalism, the relationship between the states and the federal government by and large. Then after midterm, everybody, largely civil rights and civil liberties, right to privacy, so-called, due process, search and seizure, obtaining evidence, as we said, such matters as freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and equal protection issues will come up at the very end of the course. The last three sets of notes, class notes, those are units 25, 26, and 27, I believe. So some quite important, interesting subject matter. Again, for those who are in law enforcement, the most important material, practically speaking for you, will come after the midterm exam. So we have a very little bit on the syllabus this week, a little bit more next week in the form of a quiz and a discussion. You can always contact me through the course website. Use the inbox at the left of the course homepage, or through your OPSU email, david.cole@opsu.edu. So, take it easy, study hard. I hope this will be a beneficial, fascinating, interesting course of study for you. Contact me as needed, and we'll talk to you again in a few days. Again, generally these videos will go out over the weekend on Sunday, so we should be talking to you once again in just a few days. Take it